I haven't even had my mic on. Sorry, guys. I'm a mess. But now I'm good. And thank you, Skull, for bringing it to my attention. I'm trying to become a wizard this, but I played my song for the introduction, and I wasn't even live. Like, the whole thing's a mess, right? And now, of course, I can barely get into what I was gonna, what the stream was, because I'm not flustered, but there's 30 things to do to get ready, and you're figuring, oh, 10 minutes, for 10 minutes, I'll be ready in 10 minutes. No sweat, right? It takes you 20 minutes to get ready. Funny. Yes, thank you. The audio should be good. So what were you listening to for Wasp there, Balti? Mr. Fats. And did you ever listen to the Ace Frehley solo album Back in the New York Groove? That album's absolutely ridiculous guitar-wise. Anybody who thinks that Ace Frehley couldn't play the guitar, he has a bunch of constituents in the studio making AI music even back then, And I throw around the word AI very loosely because of what I explained in the video I did earlier. You've always been working with that, right? Oh, I got pictures of naked ladies lying on the beds. I was smelling a sweet motion. I was sweating inside my head. Yeah, I love that song. It's so creepy now, though. It's like, but I can mimic it pretty good. You layer your vocals 3 or 4 times, then you layer someone else's vocals 3 or 4 times. You phase shift it just enough, and you got this jet fighter sound coming out of your face. It's like fire or spitting laser beams or something. But only on a record. You can't get that stuff. One of the most underrated records. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't care what you like for music. That some of that stuff will blow you away. You'll be into it. You'll be bobbing your head. You'll be like, I didn't know Kiss could make music like this. Although I tell you what, Kiss is pretty radical, hotter than hell. If people don't, respect Kiss or whatever, you haven't listened to Hotter Than Hell or Double Platinum, because you don't know what you're missing. I feel sorry for people who put a stigma on Kiss and don't realize their contribution. Like we were talking in the other video, they're one of the rock bands who changed everything, right? Yeah, I know Alice Cooper was here, and the New York Dolls, and believe me, I know the whole history. I was a kid back then, right? And no one was, and David Bowie, of course, and we could go on and on, but Kiss did something, and then disco said, we got to take that to the 1,000th time, right? But before that happened, anybody who went to a Kiss show and didn't know about them or hear about them must have been floored by what was going on, right? I had that too, Balt, the picture disc. I'm glad you love Kiss. Peter Criss is one of the greatest drummers that ever lived. First 6 albums, first 5 albums, Alive, of course, Alive. He's unbelievable. He is that record, right? Alive versus Kiss, Kiss Alive. He's absolutely phenomenal. What happened to him probably is what happens to most. You have to get in the clique, and then once you're in the clique, nothing's fun anymore because they obfuscate it and turn you into a prostitute. Everybody knows that. You can't be happy like that, right? Nobody. This is just Right? Even if you're a real person, whether you're an entity or a real person, it doesn't matter. Servitude and indentured slavery or indentured servitude is the same thing no matter what entity you are. Yeah, the remix, that's what I love about Double Platinum. The remix, the Double Platinum remix is phenomenal. All those songs come from different albums and they all have a different mastering technique on them, right? But they remix these songs for Double Platinum, right? And they made them all sound impeccable. They didn't ruin anything. Now, years later, they did more remixes for Detroit Rock City and Calling Dr. Love, Christine 16, which I'm not a fan of that song. Gene loves to sing about butt sex. Let's not pretend. But what was I saying? I forget. I think I was saying something about the. Oh yeah. So they did years later. They did remixes again. They ruined the drums. They put the voices. I mean, the guitars are too far back. The whole thing's a mess. The bass isn't even there. You know, there was a time around when Metallica got really, really popular that people forgot to put the bass on their records. Blackie Lawless even said that about the first Wasp record. He was saying something about how he didn't like that album you know, in the future because they had new techniques to do the bass that they weren't using that's how old that record is. They didn't have newer sort of techniques, if you will, to how do I put it, to make bass sounds better than they ever were, right? So he missed that by a few years, and he says that he wished that he had that. Gene and Paul hated Peter Criss. Well, not in the beginning. And Peter, you know, we're getting into all these great. I don't know who the frig is going to come to this session and be like, oh, this is fascinating. We're just talking about our love for love. I guess when we were kids, we did love it because we didn't know any better. Paul tells a lot of lies. Like I say, I grew up with them, and I know that Peter didn't start out as a jerk, but I think that Peter ended up. My brother and I talk about this stuff all the time because we love it. You know, we love to talk about what happened to Kiss. It would have been great if Kiss made 3 albums and then disappeared. That would have been the big. Oh yeah, we can move on if you want to. I don't have to talk about this. Just get into a conversation about it. I do not mind. I wasn't complaining that people won't think. I mean, it's my live stream, and you're here, and you and me are, you know, and Skull's here as well. He jump in there too. Skull, do you care about the crazy, you know, Kiss? Do you care about that? The other thing, Baltimore, do you like Show No Mercy? That song is unbelievable heavy. That's like one of the heaviest songs I've ever heard right to this day. Show no mercy. Yep, The Elder is absolutely phenomenal. It's a little beyond what Kiss should have ever done, but I'm glad they did it because it's fun for me. It was fun for me in my youth. We ran around with our boom boxes, cranked up with Mr. Blackwell. Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you have some stuff. Hotter Than Hell is just fantastic. Yeah, like I said, I would suggest Hotter Than Hell. Destroyer, of course, but Hotter Than Hell and Double Platinum. Because a lot of Destroyer is on Double Platinum. So, I was. Does anybody know the two people that are here? I don't know if Andrea's still here or not. But. So, I have a question. Do you guys. You can look it up on the internet because that's what people usually do. They don't know an answer these days, right? But when did people think. When did the dummies in olden times, in the old world, think that the Earth was flat? When do you think that was? Okay, they were teaching. See, so I had this whole conception of when people thought it was, and I learned in school that you know some people probably always thought, some people probably never will. Yeah, but I'm asking for a reason. What do you think? What do you think this? Because we all have a concept of when somebody says something about the flat Earth, and then somebody punches in and says, punches in the conversation. It says, "Oh, the dummies and so thought that." Yeah, those are good points. Yeah, it is a bad description. Skull. It's flat Earth is not good. Level is fine. We live level. Everything we build is level. I mean, I have a spirit level over here, or a liquid level, or whatever you want to call it. And what do you think I do with it? I level all my tables, right? I mean, I use a level because that's where I live, on a level place. I don't want my kitchen table cocked to one side, do I? No, that's not how you live. I don't know. Plane is good. It's just an infinite existence, expansion, the, the the plane of expansion, right? I mean, I want everything level because that's where I live. Level. I don't live. I don't live on the side of something, or on the bottom of something, or on the top of something. It's silly. Anyway, the reason why I asked that is because I'm sorry I don't have this fleshed out much. Because here's the thing. We have a problem with globe history solves any questions about the globe. Globe history solves any questions about the globe. But it's not as catchy or attention grabbing. Flat has an immediacy. Yes. I don't understand what you're saying, Skull. I mean, I'm sure I could if you elaborate. The thing about it for me, okay, so I wrote some stuff, and I wanted to find out when people thought that, because if we if we look at the history of navigation tools, you could see it. When did people think the Earth was flat? The idea of flat Earth is a misconception, you know, but it's not accurate. This is how quickly they obfuscate the question. They go from saying the idea that Earth is flat is a misconception that some people in the past believed, but it's not accurate. The earliest evidence of the idea of spherical Earth comes from the ancient Greeks. That's not the question that I asked. You could see it right up here. I spelled people wrong, but that's fine, because it doesn't even matter. What does this question have to do with the earliest evidence of the idea that you know, you can see what it is. I'm sorry, I'm blowing it, but. So before 240 BC, no, when I went to school, we were taught that people not far from us, like the 1700s, late 1700s, were still pushing the ball. I'm just saying the Oracle doesn't give me that information, the stuff that I learned in school. It gives me this 240 BC. It's like they changed the dates completely so that we wouldn't, they don't want us close to the people who believed it was level at all. AI is so stupid, yeah. Okay, so you know, that bugged me right away. I was like, okay, so I can't get any definite information about when people thought the Earth was flat. I thought we already had definite information, the stuff that I learned in school and took a test on. I've said this before. I had a social science class. We got into all this stuff because of the book. You know, we were testing out of a book that we had to take home and do homework with, right? So I started thinking, okay, that's not good. I don't like the results of this. This isn't the only page, but like I said in the earlier video, I'm not going to go through all the research. I'm going to like get to the what I eventually figured out. The bottom line is something to argue about and nobody can exactly prove. Absolutely, Skull. But there is something here, and that's why I'm making this video. There is something here to think about, okay? So if those people, and I'm going to disregard the 240 BC. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say pretend it's common knowledge that people in 1680 knew that the world was flat, because like I said, that's pretty much what we were taught. So going on that assumption, that means that we had tools to navigate the oceans and the waters, right? Of course we did. People navigate water using a variety of tools, methods, including charts, compasses, and aids to navigation. Okay. What tools do we use to navigate the globe with? An astrolabe, a compass, and you know, we all know what a compass is, right? So these are the questions that I punched into Google, and I'm gonna, you know, go through the answers here. So, when did the navigation tools change from flat to ball? Right? Because we have to have a society that built their whole life on a flat plane, because that's what they believed, right? And then the society had to change and make tools, right, to navigate a ball. They're not the same. So the tools would not be the same. And yet, 18th century tools, they're all the same since beginning of time. That's really where I'm getting at. We have never changed the tools no matter what the shape of the ball or the flat was. There is no changing. We've had a, a, we've had a lot of time to get our tools right, and we'd have a huge narrative about our museums would be stuffed with all the dummies' tools measuring the flat earth. How could they ever get anywhere? There's no way they could get anywhere. They had the whole mathematical situation, and their charts had to be all wrong because those dummies thought they were on a level plane. But we know they're not on a level plane. They're on a ball. So here's all the new tools that we use to navigate. The tools never changed when society changed to the ball navigation. They're all the same. So you're going to tell me that we were using a compass to navigate a flat plane, which makes sense because that's where we live, right? We live on a flat thing with a dome over it, and of course a compass is exactly that, right? And the astrolabe is exactly that. And the sextant is exactly that. Nothing measures a ball. Nothing. Nothing you put on a boat. Okay? Right? So maybe I'm getting a little heated, but this gets me because this is a major contention with our society is supposed to follow this lineage. We found out that it wasn't flat. So our society has to contour to that in finding its direction. So you don't have the same tools to do something flat as you have to do something round. It's just not possible. But yet, our tools have never changed. And here they all are. You're looking at them. There's no split between the globe. Did I make my point? There's no split between the globe and the level. So something's going on, right? There's nothing here. There's not even a globe on this page, right? 18th century navigation tools. Shipping navigation tools. What do we see? Again, with the this is not a globe model. This is what we were talking about earlier, and this is probably the celestial dome and the plane inside it. So just one of those. And again, look at these entries. Do the research yourself. Which vessel tool measures a ball to get where we're going? Now, it's just a great question, and it came to be. Where's all the museums with the tools from the dumb flat people, and then the superior marble people? This doesn't make sense, does it? So now let me look at a few of your comments. Now the most modern ship probably use computers. Oh yeah, they changed it so they can make it a ball. They got rid of they hide the level playing tools, and we can see them all. Even this piece of junk, right? And this probably isn't a piece of junk. It's probably a very sophisticated tool to navigate with. But honestly, there's no globe. There isn't even a globe on this page, guys. Right? There isn't even a globe on this page. They don't use a globe. We don't live on a globe. Again, here's the this is what they turned the astrological oh, I can't talk sometimes. Astrological dome into, right? They just changed it. Said, oh, the plane is gone. No, it's right here. Another one. You could go and you could pick them out. But anyway, don't you think that's interesting? It dawned on me, because I work with tools all the time, and I said, how come all these tools that I'm surrounded by today, because I'm up to my fucking elbows in grease, and I just thought to myself, well, if I was going to build this machine on a globe, how would I go about it? Because none of these tools measure a marble. So Message redacted again, Balt. So you might want to. I don't know if you care to. Yeah, but use the compass on a flat chart. Yeah, but nearly every ancient culture has a flat cosmology. Bottom line is something to argue about. Yeah, they want us to argue all types, yeah. Now the most modern shit's probably, how far can we see with a periscope? You know, only as far as the technology will let you, right? That's it. When you ask torpedo girls, go, we and ask torpedo girl. Let's take a dive, torpedo girl. That's one of my favorite songs. It's so stupid. So yeah, I just went on and I was, looking like, when did people think the earth was flat? I had to punch it in a bunch of times to see if I could get some kind of result. How did the Greeks navigate? So these guys are saying that, so the all the professional websites are saying that the Greeks did, line of sight. And so they didn't go far from the shore. We all know that's bullshit. They've been sailing the seven seas forever. There is no history before. Again, I'm just showing, I did a bunch of history of navigation, timeline, history of navigation. I think I get something else here too. Yeah, so in lieu of that, I think it's a good question. I think it's a fun question. And you guys might be missing the point because I'm a fucking idiot, right? But there's supposed to be a timeline where we thought the Earth was level, right? And then it changed. The tools have to change with it, right? You don't use an Allen wrench for a bolt. You can't do it. I mean, you could manufacture something and get it done. I could. You give me anything, I'll figure it out. But I'm just saying, as a rule, you don't take flat tools to make a round ball. And that's what they claimed our society has done. But you can't use the same tools. So now the other thing is, yeah, torpedo girl. Oh man. Hey, Unmasked is awesome. I don't mind it at all. Dynasty sounds incredible, and both of Gene's Dynasty's great. I don't like any of the Paul songs, to be honest. I'm not. And Peter's song's great, but it goes on too long, and they just made a. I wish that song was 2 minutes long and stopped, because they gave Peter way too much time for that song, and it just gets boring and goes on too long. But Gene's stuff on that is fantastic. I'm talking about Dynasty. And I think Unmasked is a complete departure from what they were doing. And, basically from what I understand, Ace Frehley and Paul Stanley did Unmasked and Dynasty by themselves. I mean, no one else was around. No one even wanted to be near each other anymore. But Ace would play the bass like all the sessions. So Gene didn't even need to show up. I know you deceived me. Now here's a surprise. I can't help but sing when I have melodies in my head. I'm a singer. Like, I could just imagine what people think of me in my car, which I don't. I should say used to, because nowadays I don't even turn on the fucking radio. I just the stuff that's on the radio I've been hearing since I was, a little kid, and it's all the same stuff that's still on, the same exact songs. And I think this is one of the ways that they keep us in mediocrity and habits of our choosing, right? It's not all their fault. We choose the habits and we just continue with them, right? And we never grow up. We stay 13 our whole life, including me. I did it for many years till I woke up and said, I'm not 13. Why am I dressing like this? Why am I talking like this? Am I going to stay a juvenile delinquent my whole life? Not that you understand what I'm saying. I'm not. You like Unmasked over Dynasty? Yeah, I kind of do too. But I think Dynasty is one of the most beautiful sounding records I ever heard. I'm really into sound, so I mean, albums. There are some albums that I like. I'm really particular about what an album sounds like, right? Am I supposed to be looking to figure out which records I have? You probably know. I don't think that. Well, you might get a couple surprises, right? That might be fun. You'd be like, "Oh, I forgot I had that." Andrea, are you back or did you leave or I haven't seen you in the comments. That's all. I'm glad you came back. It's fun to have more people because they keep it fresh. What can do we want? What can do we want? What are you saying? I forgot which Kiss albums I have. I've had them all 100 times. I had the originals, but I was such a dumb kid. I somebody spilled Bacardi and Coke on a little pile of records, and of course we were so drunk that by the next time that I went back to this place that my beautiful originals, Kiss originals, I had Kiss originals, and damn thing was stuck to the friggin' table with Bacardi and Coke, so I didn't realize, and I went to grab it, and I ripped that sucker, and you know how cardboard rips after it's been soaked and stuck to a tip. Oh, it broke my heart. Only for a few years, you know, I grew up and said, what difference does it make? Does anyone give a shit? Well, I'm glad you came back, Andrea. I hope I hope all this rock talk isn't, you know, who wants to sit around with a bunch of guys talking rock and roll, right? But I think I was saying earlier too, Balt, that Kiss is one of those things that they made a significant impact on the music scene. Would you agree with that? I mean, just as much, especially in the day, as like Nirvana did, or like I was talking about. What's that? Missing persons, stuff like that. You do what? You do? You're bored of us talking about Rock Shop? Sorry, guys, I have to keep things, somewhat organized. Oh, Andrea likes music? Great. I'm glad. I don't want to bore anybody and turn them off and be like, these guys. No, music's a huge thing in all this old world stuff. Where did all this stuff come from? Where did Bach come from? Where did how, the organs, right? I mean, there's no doubt that some of that stuff, those frequencies that shape our lives, come right off the records we listen to, and we all know it because we were talking in that other stream. And then I stop and read the comments. I can't even remember what I was talking about. you know, they definitely investigated all the frequency equipment that they found here and said, you know, if we flip this, then we can make it bad instead of good, right? Of course, that's what they do with everything. Chris Columbus World is not flat cartoon. Oh, is that what this link is? Oh, dear goodness. I got so many screens open. Oh, jeez. Where is the and mansions and big stone bricks, and they probably built the damn trains and the tracks and everything else. This all that stuff, right? I'm sure you showed me that because it's all trickery, right? It's all 440 here. You know, I miss 420. I might have to smoke while I'm doing this live because I like to. I've been straight all day. It's all spell casting, right? I mean, I'm assuming that's why you wanted me to pick it up, to see that. So I put it up if anyone wants to watch that. I will click the links. Like I say, I have I'm trying to get a better handle on this to have better live streams, more entertaining. Is it hot where everyone else is? I'm just curious. It hasn't cooled off today at all. Not me. Copyright issues. I can't monetize anything. They tell me I can't put my videos up. I have to slice them, dice them, take some stuff out. I'm always under the gun. It's no big deal. I know what's going to happen. I don't get much leniency, and I don't. Hey, Ink, what's up? And I'm not complaining. Oh, what was me? I don't want any sympathy over it. I mean, it's an observation. People that I talk to regularly on the internet, if you will, are always like, dude, how can you go live and I not know? I don't know. It's not for me to answer. I can't. 89 here, yeah, 93 yesterday, according to the cartoon. Everyone thought the world was flat. And no, they didn't think it. They could see with their own eyes. They didn't need anybody to tell. If it wasn't for the TV, we would not be flipped for the benefit of some other entity. Right? Not your benefit, my benefit, or our benefit. Yes, it's hot north of you. Oh, I'm sure. Why does that never happen to me? I'm starting to get a complex about it. Balt. It doesn't happen to Skull either. He puts all kinds of stuff up. They don't. Am I right, Skull? You put stuff up with no incident at all, right? My brother doesn't even get that, and he does very mundane. He doesn't do anything like what I'm doing, but they don't care. And in his account may be sort of associated with mine because we both share the same IP, and I honestly believe that my brother doesn't get the attention he deserves because of my fucking channel. And I don't like that, And I could say, oh, I don't sleep well at night because of it, sort of, you know. But there's nothing I can do. This is my thing, and my brother and I could separate IPs if we wanted to, I suppose. But Jesus Christ, man, all that for what? Just to talk shit on the microphone? I'm not really sure about that. I don't even think my brother's very, very keen on me doing this. Because and there's nothing wrong with it, of course. I respect that he doesn't care about finding the truth of anything. He knows there's no way to get to the truth of anything. There is no truth, right? He doesn't like sort of want to explore what the problem is or what the solutions could be or I think you understand what I'm going for. And it's a fair assessment of he knows it's all bullshit. The dude didn't. He hated school more than I did when we were going. He used to tell me it's all bullshit. What are they trying to tell me? Blah blah blah. Well, blah blah blah. Yeah. There's nothing to take away from school except trades if you can get into that. And so I respect his view. You think you thought the world was flat until school and movies said otherwise. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Maybe even before you got here. Yeah, or maybe not. It's they make sure. And if you look at the bottom of the ball models in shops or malls or even navigational. We used to have a vessel navigational store, a mom and pop store that had globes in it. And on the bottom of those globes, it says not for navigational use. Period. This is a decoration. All of them, even the ones that were really sophisticated and had the dome of the luminaries around them and it looked like a plane and all that. You know the ones that we're talking about that you see. You still pick that one up and says, no, you don't use this. You use straight tools to get where you want to. Because that's where we're going. We're going straight to that destination. Yeah, again, it's one of my things. Ink, you're saying, later I thought about it independently. Right. Because you started to realize there was something wrong probably in your heart and in your gut. You know what you're seeing, and they're trying to tell you something else, and you can't go with it you could have cognitive dissonance about it, and that's where we are with most things, right? You got copyright claims on pretty much everything, Skull. Okay, that doesn't surprise me. And, in a way, I'm kind of glad because it doesn't make me feel so friggin' bad. I don't feel bad, but, I try to do good videos and you can't use that, you can't say that, and we're going to, look into this further. Shut up. My brother's research, Balt, is outstanding. He does a lot of stuff that our community... I'm not saying, like, he puts it up and stuff. That's what I mean about him. But he's extremely intelligent. And I think that's why him pontificating on the what is it? Just because you don't know the truth, you can't, doesn't mean you can't have fun with the lie. He doesn't give a shit, right? He doesn't want to even really talk to me about it. I'm lucky he does. He has a lot of good points about a lot of these things, but to like discuss it and be all into it for an hour on a live stream, no. I probably irritate him more than anything. Yeah, his Patterson film is great. If he did get into this kind of thing, he'd blow you up. He'd blow you up. He'd blow you up. He'd be better at it than me because he's a different kind of person. Shortest points, shortest distance between 2 points. Of course, it's always been that way. It's never changed, and the tools never changed. That means the Earth never changed. That means that where we live never changed. It's baloney. It was flat when they built the tools for it in the 300 BCs, and it was flat in 1993 when they started changing the world. My world. Like I said, I was a kid and it was a different world by the time I got into 93, 95. I started being very aware that we're heading down a path that isn't good. Me too, Balt. Everything started for me around junior high. I just got this. Oh, I was gonna say, it seems to me, okay, it just seems to me, this is my opinion, that people in general are supposed to literally grow up, not grow old. They're supposed to discover their, what would you call it, emotional intelligence and become a man or a woman and stop believing and doing whatever you're told. That's how I see it. And since hardly, like most of our society doesn't do that, right? That's why I pick 13 years old, because you get set in a way. Your teachers and your parents and your authority figures, they've stopped their growth at 13, so they can't teach you anymore. Am I saying there's mentors out there who aren't far above that? Of course there are. But most people go around thinking they know everything, so even their mentor can't tell them anything. Right? And I don't care what situation it is. It doesn't matter. If a great drummer came into my my classrooms, back when I used to teach music, and if a great drummer came in there, what does he think I can teach him? Or guide him? Or direct him? Well, he already pretty much knows. I mean, if he's better than me, right? But we get in these mindsets where the student already thinks he knows more than the teacher. You're not going to help them. They're not there for help. Maybe someone made them go. Lots of different kinds of things. But I think you know where I'm going with that. By seventh grade, you should start trying to train your brain into being an adult and being logical and honest and have integrity and have boundaries. But these are the things, and don't give people validation for no reason, and don't seek validation, and have some stoic characteristics to you, and don't. Most men these days act like 13-year-old little girls. And I don't mean in an effeminate way. I mean they're spending too much time with women. See, men's spaces have been obfuscated. And men don't get to just hang around with men. There are no places like that anymore. But in the old days, when I was growing up, there were certain places, and not out of oppression for women. It was out of, this is the boys. We don't need any women around. No woman wants to get grease, poured all over their face, right? Or oil or whatever it is. No, that's not what they want. Well, us men do. We want to have bravado and say, yeah, put that car together. Look at it, screech rubber and all that burning rubber. Oh, it smells so good, right? No girl wants to sit in the back of a car filled with burning rubber, right? Right, but we have no way to fully help others see truth we accept with accredited resources, backed by official sources has been fun for the same time. Well, all that is very well said, Inc. Oh, I agree. I feel the same way, Balt, about the Patterson and the Star Wars. His Star Wars video is just amazing. But did you see the views on it? It's nothing. I don't understand. I see Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars in general, just Star Wars in general. Millions of views, right? Not his. Why? I think because he's attached to my IP. Now, am I being paranoid and goofy? Maybe. But I don't understand. So that's where I sit with that. I might be ruining his. Yeah, I might be cramping his style. Ink, it's true. A lot of teachers about, they're not bright. I didn't realize when I was a kid how young my teachers were. My sister's got kids, so, and now my sister's kids have kids, and so for years now I've been way older than these teachers, and I never. It's like one of these things. How can a child teach? You see some of these videos. You got babies. Ninth grader girls giving people dating advice. Are you kidding me? Like, what is the YouTube's come to? Because that's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. And not just because it's a woman thing. Okay, there's some teenage boys thinking they got it all figured out too. I'll say it that way as well. We all know at that age we don't know anything. Most of us would have went. It's like the tools for the navigation. We were going along to get along. Then we popped out of the bubble and said, "Oh, it's not like that at all." So we changed our tools, right? And now we navigate our new mindset, not the old tools we needed for the go along to get along. Now we don't go along to get along, so everything's changed. And personally, it's made my life, like as me, it's changed my life for the better. As far as the people around me, it's gotten worse for me because they don't like aspects of my old world investigation. So it's been great, but it hasn't been that great because it's one of these things. When you learn something new, you think everyone wants to, or if you play the drums, you think everybody wants to, or if you drive nice cars, you think everybody wants to. But that's playing the if you know the Encyclopedia Britannica by heart, you think other people should. But that's the main character syndrome, and none of those things should be projected on other people, right? Oh, I like ladies around. I don't know what that refers to. I Yeah, you gotta love those Carolina steel toe boots. Like a very masculine thing. You gotta have your boots. I live here on the East Coast. You wear boots, work boots, whatever, steel toes. Because it's always raining. It's always raining or the snow's coming down. The weather here is such a different thing than California. California, man, you just needed a pair of flip-flops and a pair of shorts and you were good to go. As long as you had a shirt in the car, You just make your way wherever you want to go. No thought of the weather at all. None. Yeah, nobody cares about your learning curve. You know, nobody's interested in it. I agree. And they don't want to go along with it either. I mean, they don't even want to entertain it. There was some guys talking about telling me all about George Washington, right? And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, and not because I think I know more about the situation. I don't know anything. That's why I don't want to hear them tell me what they know for a fact. I mean, and they were laying into me. They were like, and I wasn't saying, I want to make it clear, I wasn't saying, oh, what about this? What about that? No, I was just listening. And they, since I wouldn't respond, right? Because what can I respond to? All I can say is, well, I'm not necessarily sure that's even true. I don't know if George Washington even existed. Well, when I said that to end the conversation, because there was no other way out for me, right? The other three guys who were kind of listening, they laughed heartedly. They couldn't believe that someone would say something so stupid. And the Mason said the same thing to me. He's like, what, like, what's wrong with you? This is the way the world is. It's the facts. Oh, God, you're going to go there with me? It's the facts? I just turned around and I didn't say that to him, the fact. You know, I was thinking in my mind. So I just said, I had enough. They don't want to entertain the fact that the 1700s was a killing field, right? Because, I mean, there's no... Some of these guys are doing really good videos and getting really down and dirty, right? And I applaud them for how deep they go. I don't know where these people get the time. I can't. Whoo-wee. But you know, I think that the wars, we're talking about culling the realm, right? Culling the realm of entities that they didn't want around. Dude, that's a joke I tell. You were talking about guys' night out and your lady was probably driving around with me. Yeah, I was that guy. Taking everybody's girls. Not my friends or my brother. That's not how I rolled. I used to get really... I had some issues with my friends because they would do things to me that I would never consider doing to them. Right? Like try to get their girl or tell their girl something in secret or, you know, meet her at a club without telling me. And not that she was in on it necessarily. She, you know, we're all hanging out and they get information. So they're like, oh, they're going to go there at 9 o'clock and I know that Mystery won't be there. So I'm going to show up. Oh, it went on all the time. I had a couple friends that were just dog nasty about that shit. And that's not respect, right? You thought these people were your friend. But again, that's another one of those things where you grow up and you realize you grow up. Right? You don't grow old. You grow up and you realize this motherfucker ain't my friend. And a lot of people just stay in these toxic relationships because they don't want to be alone. I do believe that I was one of those people when I was younger. I didn't want to sit around in the house. I couldn't be alone. I needed people and I broke all that because I grew up. And I said, what is my brain, like, why do I think these things? Am I sick? I'm sick. Because I look at a buddy of mine and he's doing all these things that I'm doing. I'm saying, this guy's a fucking idiot. Like, why does he get himself in this situation? Oh, wait a minute, that's me. I've done that. Oh boy. I better assess and not talk shit about him because I'm doing the same thing, right? Don't be a hypocrite. You know, for me, I'm talking about for me. When I say things, I'm not projecting anything on anybody. I hope that's clear. And I don't think you guys think that, but somebody may come to this and he says, you always say you and they, and I know, but I'm talking as if we're having a conversation, right? fact somebody told them. Yeah. I mean, all me and my cousin and my buddies used to do is run around to all the clubs trying to get as much as we could, if you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, that's what, like, of course, when I was growing up, I know you heard it from the old people, but it's fucking true. My grandfather, my father, and me, and my generation, we didn't have anything to do but go chase women and drive fast cars, right? Because the materialistic American viewpoint hadn't reached a level that it is today, okay? Like, there wasn't that much to buy: a record player, some instruments, a cool car. You know, you had a local record store. You couldn't just have all this. Give them everything, Mo. You ever see anybody watch The Stooges? Give them everything, Mo. You couldn't have everything. Didn't work like that. Because a lot of times you had to go to another state to do anything at all. You know, maybe a lot of my viewers didn't live in a world like that, but like it wasn't easy to get a hold of things. So I mean, for me and in my generation and the generations before, that's what I was saying about things hadn't changed much. By the time I was growing up, it was the same old thing: run around chasing girls and drive your fast car and make as much money as you can, because that's what the old people told you to do. Because that's what they did. And that's how they, you know, you're looking at your grandfather and you're like, damn, this guy's doing pretty good for a fucking 80-year-old. Yeah, and he told you how to do it. But you can't do that now. Our financial future is a fucking joke, right? Let's not pretend. We're not in a nest of crooks. That's all we're living in now. Everything's been so obfuscated. God, Andrea, you have no time for YouTube anymore? Well, Andrea, you know, learning stuff is subjective, right? Because learning stuff is fun, but it takes time. Everything is patience, and most everything in life has to be the long plan. There is no short plan for anything. I love when people say, all you got to do is, what? You're using words to make something sound. I had a buddy. We'd fix people's cars. So people would say, you know, how long will it take to do this, right? The kid would just bust out, oh, it'll take 40 minutes. What? Don't tell them that. It'll take us 40 minutes to get the fucking thing on the lift. And then they'll be waiting all day for the car, because you know damn well that won't go as planned. We're going to run into rusty bolts. We're going to run into broken metal. We're going to not realize that we have to take certain things apart because we never worked on a car like this before. You know, nobody's really a professional. Even though all this stuff I know about cars, I still get under a car and go, damn, why did they make it like this? Man, I thought this was going to be a 40-minute job. No, it's going to be all weekend. Because half of this stuff got to be transformed before I can even work on the thing that I want to work on. And that's not the only thing that's like that. It's damn near everything. Yeah, they don't want us looking around. They don't want us to observe the level plane, right? No, and that's one of the things, Skull, that you're saying. Some hidden mystery ain't that appealing when you're trying to just eat and not be homeless. 100%. Or you got a family that doesn't like you. Let's not pretend that there's a lot of married men. And I use the word men a lot because I am one. I hope people don't get offended by me saying guys and men. Men and guys, it means everybody. I'm just old school, and I don't try to pick my words. So, please understand me. I don't care, but I do want to address that because I've had comments like you fucking you and your masculine shit. What can I do? I'm a man. What am I supposed to change about myself? I'm supposed to comply to your. No, I can't. I'm not. But I agree. If you have it bad in life, and I'm sure we all have, right? I mean, I had a pretty rough time in my life a few times. It's no big deal. It just, you fix it and you move on. But while it's happening, you feel like, you don't have the inspiration to write a song or do a video or go, meet your boys for a race meet. You're not into it. You need to fix something, or something has to be gotten rid of, or whatever the case. Yeah. So I think we all understand. I don't know, Skull, about the instruments. I'd love to know the statistics on it, because everybody I knew when I was growing up, everybody played the guitar. Everybody. Even the girls. A lot of my girlfriends were musicians. Even if they were my girlfriend for a week, or what I always bumped into people, the piano, right? The horns, the bass. There's certain instruments that a female will gravitate to, and that might be a stereotype. I saw it time and time again. Some girls love the drums. I can't even believe it, but it's probably a very visceral thing to do, right? Well, I know it's a visceral, but I'm talking about coming from their mindset. They're like, yeah, this is awesome. I'll pound the shit out of these things, right? Meanwhile, I'm thinking I'd like to pound the shit out of them. I'm sorry, Andrea. I hope you don't take offense to that. Yeah, pawn shops can't give things. Somebody tried to pawn a kind of rare guitar at a shop I was in recently, and the store didn't have any interest in it. Wow, that's a very interesting thing. There's a lot of local musicians in the woods. No clarinet players or harpists up here, but lots of drummers and guitar. Oh yeah, the drummers. And you know what? You can never find a bass when you need one. That's why me and my brother both play the bass. Because you might find somebody that plays a bass, but you got to get along with these people too, right? And so it's there's too little people that play the bass for them to all be good people. Most of them are shit, just like most people in general. True patience, yes, in life. And I don't have a lot anymore. I mean, I probably never have. I'm probably just fooling myself. We all like to believe things about us. But a guy told me something one time. He said, and he was referring to somebody else. We talked. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He said, he turned to me and said, so-and-so talks a lot, and he wants to tell you all about himself. But people don't need to be told who you are. They know. And I was like, whoa. That is, that's a fact. Right? You don't have to tell people who you are. They know. Shops play a key role in struggling people sink lower. Stress. Pawn shops play a key role in making struggling people sink lower. Stressed enough to pawn your shit. How about if your valuables are worthless? Yeah, dude, I'll go with you. I mean, here's my thing. I love cars, and I just, it's one of the things that sort of keep me going on this realm. And I know it's serving the master and everything. Look, I get it. I always have known that I'm but I have my blood is oil, and that's it. Back to what you're saying, the valuables are worthless. I would give up my love for cars to have the most beautiful, excessive, and efficient public transportation. I mean, that's because that's the kind of person I am. I will definitely give up anything that I love or enjoy to make the world better for everybody else. And I'm sure someone will come on, put on a comment, oh man, you're fucking blowing smoke, you're full of shit, I'd love to call your bluff, I'd love you to, I'd love you to too, so that the end result would be better for everybody. But that would never happen, because nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares about anybody anymore. I've been cooking and now it's time to feed the fam. Hopefully I can jump back later. Yeah, we'll see how long I'm on. I didn't even get to my video. I talked about the tools and stuff, but I was going to go through these. But that's okay, Paul. I'm really glad you showed up. Thank you for being here. And, eat heartily with the fam. And be grateful. Be grateful. I try to be, even though I'm an angry son of a bitch. Enjoy the food. Yeah, not a good feeling when things you hold dear are not worth anything to someone else. Well, it can be. I don't think we should have all this materialism anyway. I'd give it up for a better way. I'd give it all up. There's nothing, this world's rough. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, all our research. I mean, that's why you don't want to turn people onto it. That's why I don't talk to certain members of my family about it, because they have the technical prowess, if you will, to understand exactly what I'm getting at. And these two guys I'm talking about, they would quickly, and I don't have the right to make them feel like they made a bunch of mistakes after they literally realized and sat with what they found out. I mean, I'd start with the old buildings, because that's what these guys do. And I'd say, dudes, you're going to tell me that this stuff, what would happen? I'd say, look at this. Tell me that this could be done. And because both of them that build the most beautiful things in the world, right? But they're probably, if they can come to it on their own, that's fine. But I don't want to. I have no right to make them second guess everything they've done in life. Ink, that's pretty interesting. I know that there's no old car. I've been on a quest for a 40s car. It's not going well, to say the least. I have the same issue that you're talking about right here in the comments. I'm not trying to be negative. It's man, people would give away 60s muscle cars back when I was growing up, because there weren't nothing. If you could drag it out of the yard, you can have it, because it's just not worth anything anymore. You want to talk about things not being worth anything? All the stuff that I grew up with, nobody gives a shit about that. I'm lost. Like I'm an old person who's lost. I got to use computers and stuff instead of dial on a payphone. Right? No, I got to have this computer in my pocket. This stuff all kind of gets squeezed together. In New Hampshire, the used car lots are basically empty except for really beat up Accord or shit Buick or something. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. For me over here in Mass, it's all new cars, and the middle class car has changed. Like, everybody wants a Range Rover and a Beamer and a super expensive Dodge, red eye and all this stuff, right? And there's just the kind of vehicle that people want to put themselves in to show off for society is bizarre. And the used car lots around here are making the case for that, because we don't have regular cars anymore. When I was in California, I thought it was pretty normal for everyone to drive a $150,000 car, right? I get back to Massachusetts, and that's what everyone wants. Is that what everyone's been driving? I didn't think that. I thought we were a little less motivated by the money that we hope other people think we have, right? And for me, I have my brother and I and my friends. We have always had very expensive cars, but I'm gonna tell you something. This might sound like a cope, but it isn't. It's because we loved it. I never cared about what anyone thought about what I drove, whether I drove a hunk of shit, which I never did, or, a $150,000 car. It wasn't about, for me, cars aren't about what it looks like to other people. I'm in love with my car by Queen. That's my song since it came out, right? Since the very day it was on the B-side of Bohemian Rhapsody when I was a little kid. I was like, yeah, I understand that. I understand you. And I can't wait to grow up to have a 73 Firebird like my old man, right? Yeah, man, remember the side of the road cars? Yeah. Cars is another topic. If you talk about it too long, people will leave the live stream because they're like, "Oh, guys talking about cars." Hey, what else do we have? Right. Cars are really fun, especially if you're doing the hobby for you, right? Because if you're doing it for other people and you want to spend money you don't have for other people, which and I'm not saying I ever did that. I'm just saying if you want to make it look good, that's a sickness, right? I like cars and the work that I do in my occupation because I like machines. I have oil for blood. Most people know it when they meet me, or know me for any sort of time. They're like, "Oh, you're one of those?" Yeah, I'm one of those. I could take this whole thing apart, put it back together. Which part's broken? Right? Diagnose everything. Cars talk to me. I'm an empath. I'll walk up to somebody and say, "Yo, your axle's fucked up." How do you know? You'll say, "You don't believe me?" Dude, what the fuck? I know, I told you. Yeah, but Andrea probably doesn't want to do the car talk, and I don't know if Skull Asylum cares about it. Cars are very specific. I mean, a lot of people get really start rolling their eyes. Oh God, cars! Here we go. But the whole thing about cars is it has an old world history to it, and that's one of the things that I have fallen in love with about it. Like recently, and I wouldn't say recently as in like yesterday, but I started to realize if we're dealing with all this old world stuff, my opinion is the 40s cars, if you look at those in the context of those buildings and put those 40s cars, the 40s cars, in front of those buildings, they fit right in. They are part of that society. We found those cars and put them in the marble people's. I guarantee we stripped them out. Those cars are definitely Montague frames. There's no doubt about it. In my opinion, there's no doubt about it, because the contours of the 40s cars, right? Look at this is what our cars look like today. This shit was way ahead of us. And if you take a look at this car, see these things on the front? This is radar. This is so they don't crash, right? This tech's gone. The headlights, they move. These cars are super sophisticated, but again, remember I was talking about stripping them all down? This is, you're gonna tell me that this is antique trash? No, this is as modern and as far out as our cars today. It's insanity. I have a feeling that we're looking at a lot of tech, just like those buildings, that we don't understand because these cars got taken off their track. These cars didn't run on the road. If you take this tire off this rim, think about this for a minute. If you take this tire off this rim, what does it look like? It looks like a train wheel because that's what it was originally. Firestone is one of the original people here. They had to figure out how to get these cars off the track and sell them individually. I think they were all public transportation. Very safe and very technical. Right? I mean, I don't know, you might say, mister, you're fucking crazy. Nah, this is the future, not the past. For all I know, we stuck these bumpers on them and shit, right? Because you could pick out parts where but the buildings are the same thing. You could pick out parts where you're like, not sure how this fits into their society, or this doesn't look right, but right? Overall, these things are, look at this. This is an SUV. We were already here. You're gonna tell me, okay, right? Yeah, train track wheels, solid train track wheels, solid train track wheel. I'm gonna try to get into it with I keep mentioning no wagons on the level earth, but come on. Again, I think these things were full of tech, and I think we're looking at it, some of it. Especially on, I mean, look at this thing. I mean, this is... And people could come here and say, oh, they figured out how to roll metal and everything. I'm telling you, line these cars up against any one of these buildings that we talk about all the time, and it is the same thing. I believe that they found the warehouse that these cars were in. And we're copying them now. We're copying the sophistication. If you don't know what a monocube is, it's what we have now. We used to have cars that were what my brother and I call carriages. Carriage made in Canada, right? The carriage would be the suspension components, right? But they changed cars into cages, which is what the monocube is. It's a frame all around you. I would say like a roll cage, but it's not exactly. It's a little different than that, but the car is built so it has substantial rigidity, I can't say the word. Rigidity, whatever. You know what I'm saying. This stuff's way before our time. They just found these. And I'm not talking about every single one. You guys know what I'm saying. Look at these cars like you'd look at those buildings, and you'll start to be like, oh, we already had cars that had sensors that didn't crash. We already, the amusement park ride with the cool old cars on the track, and when you were little, you could pretend you were racing, but you weren't even steering it. It was going on the track. That's how those people lived, in my opinion. And this is, and we're looking at it. They were on a track. They didn't have wheels. Rims are a very interesting thing. I always wondered about them, but I sort of came to an interesting conclusion about they got rubber on these. Look at this, is a train wheel. solid train. When you see wheels like that, I know this is a picture, guys, but look, this is solid. Go look at train wheels and you'll see what I'm talking about. I don't know. I'm just pushing a point, but I don't know what else I could talk about it. But do you? I guess maybe. Yeah, that thing's rad. Yep. Can you look at the amphibious cars? Can I even fucking spell that? Jesus. Yeah, this is the problem. If you don't know, I got dyslexia, so who cares, right? No one ever cared. I didn't care if I died on the street because I couldn't read, you know. Vivian Automobile. I should be doing this off screen and then pulling it over. Yep, here we go, you know. This is what I'm saying, like, there's no doubt that this, look at this. Where do you think they got these ideas? We didn't make anything, the marble people. We got indoctrinated into everything. Those 40s cars say it all. Like I say, park those in front of. Let's see, what else we got here for comments? So I really don't have much to say about these. I don't investigate them. I get it. It's probably old tech. I'm sure. Holy mother. Phew, speed racer right here, huh? Holy macaroni. Oh, the chat's in the way. That thing is sick. Still has train wheels though, doesn't it? Yep, train wheels on cars. They just figured out how to get rubber on them. Because Firestone was one of the original families here. With Chase and Bilderberg, they all... I don't know who did the video, but I have some pieces of it. Because I wanted to stress that we don't really realize who the families were. The first families. When I found out one of them was Firestone, a lot of things clicked. I was like, oh, I didn't know that because I don't know everything, right? I find out a lot of research from other people. The comment section. People always leaving links. Love watching old movies for the cars and the buildings. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why. Yeah, I agree. East African countries are still running old American cars now. Oh yeah, they kind of always have. Like they've always had the second nature stuff. Second nature, I don't, you know what I mean. Like selling them like new African engineering place in Tanzania. Some of those had car phones. Dude, some of these things are checked out. Those are rolling cages. I mean, you know. And again, I don't want to act like I'm beating a point and you got to believe me. You don't got to believe. I guess I can be weird and say I feel it. Be the equivalent of the generic motorcycle frame, yeah. Yeah, Firestone. I agree with that. Five, so I've been going for an hour and a half and I didn't even get to, you know, because we get off on a tangent. But, you know, that's okay. I probably made a mess out of this video with the whole thing in the beginning because I didn't really put that together about the whole tools and everything. That's what I mean. I like to write scripts so I don't have to rely on my my old and worn out brain. How's that? You know? hope you guys are having an enjoyable time at least. It's a great mice. Well, thank you. I'm glad you. So, if you guys, whoever's here, could chime in. Yes, you always put on a good script video together. Also, yeah, I like them way better. This is kind of obviously I'm not super intelligent or super articulate or any of those things, so it's takes a bit of guts for me to get on here. And of course I a little bit of dyslexia, a little bit. I got dyslexia, so like even that can be intimidating, but I've lived with it all my life. It's not like something that I'm ashamed. I forget about it, Sometimes someone will say, "Hey, what is this?" And it'll be like, "Oh, that's just the way I do it because I'm me." But I realize that they're asking that question because it seems arcane to them because they don't live in this soul or these shoes, right? And it's the other thing that makes me an empath for mechanics too. You have to, when, like in my opinion, when you're born, you can't have everything. So certain things get taken away and other things are elevated, right? I mean, I think that's just the way it is with everybody. Some people are super smart, and even if they spent all their life with their old man with cars, they still don't get it, right? That can happen to people. Or I've met many people who wanted to be a musician really bad. They're just never gonna be. They can do some simple stuff, but that's not good enough for them, which it doesn't have to be. I'm not going down that road. They just know that, and it's just not working, man. You're not good. You're not gonna be, right? You never look at fossilized foot found in the 1980s, the one in the 1950s boot. You ever look at the fossilized foot found in the 1980s, the one in the 50s boot? I do. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. I have heard something about that. Do you want to elaborate, or do you want me to like try to find it, or 80s foot in the 50s boot? I mean, I don't know what to type in. Let's see, fossilized foot in boot. We'll just try that. I don't know. I don't see anything here. Would I know it if I see it? Fossilized foot cowboy boot. Is this it? Mountain Mystery? Oh yeah, that's probably it, huh? Creation Science Museum too if you ever wanted. Oh, they don't bring you to it. Oh, cut the crap. That's it, the first image. This one? Stuff like this, right? Well, that's interesting. Do you bring that up for a reason or just to be interesting? Do you have anything to say about it? Because I never heard of it till just now. Supposed to take thousands of years to turn to stone. Less than 30 in reality. Yeah, the whole turn into stone thing. Ooh, that's some rough stuff. I don't know how stuff does that. I suppose it can mineralize and do all these things, but I'm not a earth scientist, you know, literally earth science. Geology, is it? Is that the right word? Probably not, but like how the earth turns things to other things. I don't know what that is. The elements to the earth, we all know though that nature, you put a back to the car thing, if you put a car in a field and leave it there, what's going to happen? The earth is literally going to eat it. As soon as you come back a month later, 2 months later especially, maybe even 8, getting the car out of there is going to be tough because a tree's already coming up through the trunk. You know, these trees, we had a little teeny tree in the backyard of my mom's house. All of a sudden, I turn around and the thing was a huge tree. And I was like, I used to beat that little stick up when I was a kid. I wouldn't be challenging that tree, you know, a few years later. Only time we knew of that happening. What happening? And also the other comment is there's an engine block found in the ocean off the coast of... Oh. I'm sure there's so much stuff in the water because we all know there's a bunch of beautiful stuff under the water. And they probably threw a lot of stuff underwater, obviously to hide it. Okay, Andrea, see you later. It's nice to have you around. I appreciate you checking in. Hanging with the mysteries of the realm. I'm sorry I didn't get to my actual video, but life can go in many different directions. I'm going to have to go pretty soon, too, because... I've been at this for a while, and I just don't think it's that good. You know that the bodies of water have been used to hide lots of stuff, right? I mean, that's for sure. It's easy to do, right? Yeah, under some conditions. I'd love to know what those conditions are because suppose we found out that these buildings weren't made out of rock in the first place, right? They might be so old that they turn to rock, or rock doesn't take that long to form, and we just don't know these things. I mean, it would be another like gotcha moment even for this community if somehow we found out that they weren't lifting big giant rocks. That shit was styrofoam when it was originally conceptualized. And they didn't need to be big, powerful people and all this machinery and tech. No, they used, you know, and I'm not saying styrofoam as an end all and be all to the conversation. I'm saying we could think outside the box, and like it might have been spray foam, one block here, block here. You got 19 guys with spray foam, spray foam guns, right? And they got this metal. It could be metal or wooden or plastic frame, and they just fill the holes in the frame, and then and like you do, you unscrew the frame, or you take the nails out of it, and it falls apart, and there you go. You got your foundation, right? These buildings could be anything. We just don't have any idea. They seem like stone and marble and all that, but we don't know what the original thing was. Well, I don't, and I'm not going to pretend I do. I know that they're stone now, but were they made of stone? Poured, but do you think it was stone or cement or some kind of poly, whatever? We got all these words for it now to be sophisticated and act like we know something. We do it too. We put lots of words on things now. This community, and sometimes you get kind of sick of hearing the same old what's that called? The same old. It's all repeating. Like we haven't found, let's face it, or do you guys feel this way? Do you guys feel like we haven't really advanced on our research after the initial, probably maybe like 12 years ago, this thing happened, right, for the internet. Now, some of us, we were around before the internet and it was happening to us anyway, but I'm just talking about collectively. We haven't really gotten past a lot of the questions. And that's fine. I'm not criticizing. Right. And hay bales and concrete shells and stuff. Yeah, how about hemp? Do you ever see what hemp turns into when it dries? Yeah, you should look that up on the internet. I could do it now, but I'm kind of winding down. I'm probably gonna go. But yeah, hemp is insane. There's a video of a guy. He's got hemp blocks. He's doing it all by himself, building a friggin' house. If you step back a few, because they show different angles with the camera and stuff. You'd have to walk over there to figure out what the hell this material was. And it was so quick. It was like, this video was like kind of mind blowing. You can find it. You don't need me to look into it. Building with hemp, you'll find it. Yeah, fancy concrete. I can go with that. One of the things I think about the cannons is I think they were giant Bic pens. Right, and they're like a caulking gun, because the cannonballs don't fit, right? But they do fit if you put it in the end like a ballpoint pen, and you just push down a little, and you squeegee it out one row at a time, or one block at a time, or one statue head at a time. You can really work with something. Now, imagine how big these people have to be, right? To use this pen, awfully big, right? It's really amazing. So I don't know. That's just my thought on the cannons for now. I don't know if it'll change, but I think they were ejectors of some kind, because the cannonballs kind of give it away. Cannonballs don't fit quite right unless you sit them in the front, and they push in and out like ink would come out of a ballpoint pen. Add some crushed up shells to create the mystery, right? And obfuscate obfuscate any individual who wants to go looking around for evidence of things, right? You get thrown completely off the track. Like I said, I gotta get down to the beach and show you guys some something really, really interesting in my theory behind it. I got to get down there, though. I got to find time. There's a car made of hemp. Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know anything about it, but I mean, obviously, I've come across lots of stuff, right? But that's pretty interesting. Well, hemp's one of those things. You can't. It's hemp is exactly like the balloons. They can't be giving us stuff that we can produce right in our own backyard at large quantities. They did that with the food, right? They took our farms away. Let's face it, right? They took the hemp away a long time ago. They took away the alcohol so people wouldn't, make it in their bathroom and then sell it. They wanted that. That was a property that they wanted. So they made it illegal and made people Jones for it and then released it. Because just like the rap music, if they pull away from it, if they give it to you and then pull it away from you, all you want is that thing, right? They did that with the rap music. It was a very, very sophisticated play, right? It was a very sophisticated operation, put it that way. And I believe they used NWA to do that. Yeah, they can't give you anything that you can control, because if you control it, like I say, it's like the balloons. They can't give us air travel for our own personal use. We'd figure out everything we're asking. I believe we'd be much closer to the truth if we could fly around, unmolested by the powers that be. I also think the cannons were, they could have been water guns. I can go with that. Or I think they were actual ship vessel propulsion. Because I see a lot of pictures on maps where there's smoke coming out of cannons, or steam. I think that's what we're going at, right? Steam coming out of the cannons. And there's no other boat to be firing at around, I think you guys know what I'm talking about, right? They have little depictions in the old maps. Every time you look at the ships, and those masts weren't for sails either. That was all communication device. The sails on a ship, I think that the old world was way more technical than using silly sails by the time the takeover happened. And one of the reasons why the takeover happened was because they had these technologies. Whatever the cannons did, I just don't think that I think the cannons had something to do with water vessel propulsion. And maybe some other things, but those pictures don't jive. They're not shooting at anything. But the cannons are all spewing steam or vapor, some kind of vapor. And it's just not cannonballs because they're not shooting at anything. There's no other boats around. You know what I'm saying, right? And I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I just try to get a point across. Sometimes I try to repeat it to make it more palatable to understand where I'm coming from, because I'm sure I can be quite confusing. And the crosses and swastikas and some of the ancient Indian symbolism, and all these things are icons to tell you what these buildings do. But we've obfuscated the meaning of these icons. I don't believe in the religious aspect of any of these icons. I think these icons told you that this building was power, and this building was water, and this building was steam, and this building did this for the community, and this building worked like this. Because we have the same thing on our phones. All the icons, we know exactly what those icons are. We know what they do when we open them. That society knew what these things were. Just because we don't understand their symbolism and how mundane their symbolism was, the white stripes in the brick buildings. I do believe that in itself is an icon of some kind. It's telling you what this is for. Um, you know, some of these things, some of these spiral designs might have been landing pads, but they're not going to write landing pad on it. It's a symbol for, right? And they might not even have the same language as us. They might have literally lived through icons like we're doing now. Everything keeps coming back. The 40s cars, the buildings, the tech. I think most people in this community probably goes with that notion anyway, that this is nothing. We've discovered nothing. All we've done is obfuscate what we found. I do think a lot were used in steel mills and stuff. All they need was a sand filter and they would have been a perfect crucibles for a lot of metal from. Yes. Yes, I'll go with that 100%. You work in a foundry, so it makes sense, yeah. I mean, it kind of does. It's a giant ballpoint pen, but, you know. If you overtake a foundry and just add water, it would be catastrophe to create some of the destruction. It would be a catastrophe. Can't read some of it because of that dumb heart. I wish I could get rid of that friggin' thing. Can I? Can I just put an X on it? Can I get rid of this? Can I get rid of this? Stupid thing. And could create some of the destruction in a historical term. Yep, I mean, I'll go with that. Sounds logical to me. I mean, that's one of the things about destroying the old world is it doesn't take a lot of sophistication to ruin things. We all know that. I mean, one crash in a car, it's crap, right? You drop your phone, your screen breaks. Now, right? So the destruction of the realm doesn't have to be. We don't have to think so far into it as if it's all this ridiculous tech that like eviscerated buildings and stuff like that. Some of it could be very easy to do and mundane, like you're saying, just add water to a foundry. Yeah, you're gonna have the amount of destruction. I agree with you. The amount of destruction is like, I mean, you can't imagine it until you see it. Oh, I can turn it off? Okay, well, I'll look for that next time. Thanks, Scal. Man, you're so helpful. You're so helpful. You guys are great conversationists. I appreciate your input to everything, and not being bored and saying, "Oh, Mystery's crazy. He doesn't." I do say the craziest things, right? I do say things that are way out there. Yeah, no drinks on the platform near the lava. Yeah. Oh yeah, I have situations at my job where you can't. There's chemicals you can't fucking. One has to be on one side of the building, and like again, if you get caught, if you will, if that's the way you want to put it, you'll be reprimanded heavy because we'll all go up in smoke. Someone will get torn apart, and no company wants that. Not that they care about you. They only want to cover their own ass. That's all it is for them. Yep. Thanks, Skull, for hanging out, and Ink. Thanks for hanging out, and Andrea and Bald. Thank you, everybody who came, and anybody who's listening on the other end. I hope you enjoyed it. Just because you didn't share in the comments doesn't mean that I don't want. That doesn't mean that I won't acknowledge you for coming. So bye, Skull. I'm going to take off too, Ink. Everybody have a good time. I may write a script for this thing that I just did and do another video and get rid of this live. But I know I always say that, and you never know. So everybody have a wonderful Saturday night. I have had a wonderful Saturday night with you guys, and this is the only party I'm going to. Okay, so you made it very good for me. And I hope you guys all had fun. Okay, have a good night, and we will see all of us will see each other later. Goodbye.